Njenje, you sit down. Let me go. How the feeling was that broadcast?
You have to set. Pay attention.
Oh, I wanted to show you. You said I should go find Njenje media. Now, where I see you. You know what to show you. You should give me Njenje media. I can focus back on my own. I wanted to ask you, so I've sent to you. You can tell your influencers to meet with it. Please, sir.
Thank you very much.
And yet, my
my love. I want to bless you. I want to guide you. I love you. I love you. I want to bless you. I want to guide you. I love you.
Okay, very quickly, I know we're in the mood to dance. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows here. I mean, the 3 rows. Can we have 3 women please come forward for a dance competition? I have 20,000 to give. Shall when you hear money, you come out. 3 women, 1, 2, 3. You are representing which Roma? You are from here. Okay, where are you from? Yeah. I need one person from here. Not from here. Okay, so please you can go back there. Up there. Just for 3 rows, madam. Someone is already here to represent you. How many rows? 3 or 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's from here. Okay, very quickly, DJ. I don't look as if we are getting the mood to dance. You know, so before we go to the final session, DJ, if let's say you don't collect your balance. We will work together, you don't want your balance. Any DJ when they wear suit, very successful DJ. Don't be upcoming so you don't make up. And they talk to the play music. You don't really see me finish. So I have 20. What's the video going around now? What's going on? Can we please settle in? I have 20,000. I have made it. Don't worry. And I will dance for you because at the end of the game now, they keep break this stage. So I don't know which row for your dance pass. So when you're passing the dance, you go in. Madam, you are representing which row? This is Margaret with Obi-Row. Not for the hand. Madam, which one? This one. Okay, what about you? This last time, what about you? No, now who's from here now? You forget, you deny where you come from. Okay, let's go. Don't worry, she's here already. She forgets. I see her 20,000. She go back another thing. Okay, very quickly. I go right name of noise maker. We are complete. 1904. They should come upstairs. Okay, one at a time. One at a time. Okay, so let's start from. Sorry, madam. Let's start from this. The row one. So row one, please come forward. So we should not put slippers. One at a time. Women, Labour Party. Mama, Papa, begin. Okay, so let's do this. She's representing row one. Can you put us together for her? Okay, DJ, let's go.
Hey. Don't sleep. Wake up. Wake up.
Thank you very much. Okay. And so you are representing row one. So row two, Mrs. Margaret Peter Obi's row. Hey! Labour Party! Mama Papa Piki! DJ, let's go. Thank you very much. Row two. Row three, are you ready? You're representing this row. Please come forward. Very quickly, I want us to learn one clap. If I say Nigeria clap, you do pa, 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 pa. Now, wow. So Nigeria clap. American clap. Pa, 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 pa. Wow. Then let's play one gunshot. If I say two Calabar gunshots, you say off your other. Two Calabar gunshots. If I say two Awilo gunshots. Two Awilo gunshots. Good. Then the last one is Tolo gunshot. If I say two Tolo gunshots, you do Tolo gunshots. So row three now. Nigeria clap for row three. Now, wow. All right, DJ. Very successful DJ. Only in classic can you. Before I tell the next person, what should I do? I want to bring up your name. She needs a quality of dancing. Nobody belongs to what I think for the speaker. What do you? Which work can you do? My caterer. Wow. Okay, this is row 3. Okay, row 4. Row 3. Wow. You say you want your shoe? Oh, that's your shoe. Okay, DJ.
Supposed to be you can't be my person, I know, but see when I'm not when I love that I'm free, I'm so far, so good, for me, like you, let me see you, let me see
We're not dancing. What the women do stays with what the women do, right? But the will dance later. But now let's give honor to whom honor is due. When we vote for a greater, a better, a new Nigeria, this is how we'll be dancing. This is how we'll be putting our hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air. That's the kind of joy. That's the kind of freedom. That's the kind of country, our new Nigeria, that will be presented to us when we go to the polling unit and cast our votes for Labour Party and the candidate Peter Obi. So I would like us now to settle down. Media. Can we all settle down, please? When women speak, women do what? I've asked us to please settle down. That's because we are all intelligent women that understand. Labour Party, Mama Papa Piki. So we're going to be altering one or two things in the agenda, but we're going to continue. But right now, we are about to have the panel session where we have beautiful, intelligent women come up here to educate us, talk to us about women in politics, talk to us about voters' education. There was a post a couple of days ago about the most undecided voters are women, right? And most of us, we don't even know how to go about it. And that is what is about to happen. We're about to get schooled. The person who is going to be in charge, or rather the moderator of this session, is my co-host, Nana. Can we put that together for her?
I would like to quickly introduce to us the person who's going to be speaking to us on voter education in the person of Mrs. Ede. Correction, please. She'll be speaking to us on women in politics. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause.
Thank you so much. I'm not taking this opportunity for granted at all. Because I believe in the okay. I say I'm not taking this opportunity for granted at all because I believe in a new Nigeria. And when I see the room here and I see the women I have known over 2-3 decades, I have greater hope that tomorrow will be better. And for me, what I like us to see, there's nothing new that we are going to be talking about. All we are going to be doing today is just to remind ourselves that we have the power within. One, I have known over time that women possess all the tools of engagement. If you talk about weapon to birth a new Nigeria, to rescue and deliver Nigeria, we have it. And what I have come to see, if you know the sector I belong to, is that I've not seen of the 18 political parties that have been as endowed as the Labour Party. I'm not playing microfinance. If you know my antecedent, I belong to the development sector. I'm not a card-carrying member of any political party, but for long I had declared my support for the Labour Party for obvious reasons. I think we're just encouraging each other. Let me just do a little. Let me just take a little excursion into history for us to know that the solution to deliver Nigeria, men are partners in progress. I'm not in any way denigrating the role of the men, as the scriptures have already said, but from what we have seen, the level we are in this country, it is only women who can make a drastic difference. Let me tell you something. During President Yaradua, we carried out a campaign with the woman leader here. It was called Mourning Our Calamity with Dignity. We will not do things the way men do it. And when I look back to Senator Nenadi Usman, when she was Minister of State for Finance, together with Dr. Okonjo Iweala, if you remember, we need to go back to history. I'm going to give us just little points, not any lecture. I recall I have the books. I took almost a lorry load to my village. They came up with a 10-year budget that all the countries, including the 774 local government areas, have. Only women have the courage to take the risk. I know how much they paid for that, the 2 women in the ministry. I know too that Senator Chris Anyanwu, if you go to the National Assembly with all those that have been there, if you know the documentation she has done, I believe in statistics, I believe in documentation, just like the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Please, to look at what she has done, you know that there is hope. And if you look at the incoming senator, she's a woman with rare set skills that everybody, whether you like the Labour Party or not, whether you're a woman or not, you'll be able to support to come in. And if you look at our sister Aisha, is, for God's sake, I told her a few days ago, I said you're a woman of courage and you're consistent. If you look at these little examples I have given, you know that the solution is here. We don't need to look far. What are the basic things I would like us to look at? One, we have always been told that as women, we should fund our conviction. Yes, we may look like we don't have the money, but we have resources that is more than money. I want us to be able to support our sisters and our good brothers to the extent that we are able to elevate the governance and leadership ladder to a level that it is the one that can deliver to the people. Because one, women have all it takes to be able to deliver. If public service is about, if politics is about public service and also making yourself accountable, well, it is only then that we'll be able to do well. I have looked at another point. I say, look, what can we do about statistics? It is statistics that will be able to help us to communicate gaps and also be able to hold those who are in public accounting. If you look at the recent statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics, the multidimensional poverty index, it caused so much trouble. It's not an NGO statistics. If you look at that alone, I want to ask all of us that are here, all the women here, for God's sake, in kilogram, or even in a kilometer, yeah, well, it's kilogram you use in measuring weight. What is the weight of Nigeria that you are carrying? All we are discussing here is that how do we reduce that weight to the barest minimum? Nobody is meant to carry the weight of Nigeria the way we are carrying now as women. So if you look at everything, that's why I say the solution of this country is around women. If you want to also look at the social capital we have, we might say we don't have sufficient money. Convert the critical social capital is stronger than money, cash, more than rock. You can convert it to so many things. So how do we increase our social capital? The people we know, the different relationships we have, to be able to use it to deliver Nigeria, we can do that. You can do that more than having the money for our jewelry. A lot of people say, oh, women wear very expensive jewelry and all that. Money of politics is big money and it's big business. So we as women have the rare opportunity to be able to make history from simple observation that we are making. I also want us to be able to look at situations where we support each other. I remember Mrs. Tony and then Professor Josephine and then it might be Professor George Ishala Okande. These are two women, particularly who had to stick their necks. When Mrs. Anene was the woman leader of PDP, she went around mobilizing all other people. There was no restriction. Recall a number of us in civil society had to go to Plateau to support the current Minister of Women Affairs, who was the candidate of Labour Party. She was contesting, and I know she was alleged to have won that election. So what can we do as women so that we are not sentimental? The way the tag they give us as women, we are more than that, please. So that's why I want us today together to be able to say, what can we do this? Yes, we pray, we nurture, but beyond that, beyond the nurturing, let us upscale the power we have been given, the power to be fruitful, the power to multiply, the power to replenish, the power to dominate, and the power to subdue. It's only a woman who can subdue. It is possible. You see that no matter how difficult the man is, the system is, you can subdue the system. So this is the time, like how some people say, Gafili Gadoki. It means a time for us to change everything is here so that posterity will not be unkind to us. In closing, let me say that all of us have areas of influence, we have spheres of influence. Let's utilize it maximally. Don't mind little things. People who say women hate each other. Look, because of the way God has programmed us, I suffer menopause. People suffer menstrual pain, different things. So at some point, you will not be able to relate with your sister. So we don't hate each other necessarily. It's the situation we'll find ourselves that we're or what so we are too endowed as a country to be able to leave Nigeria to be moving like that. And I say, let's build our social capital, let's build our knowledge base. I was speaking with a young woman yesterday, Oluchi, and she said, we need to ask women to build their knowledge base. The men deliberately go to build. Women support each other. I like learning new things. So there is so much we can learn from books, from people, from the internet. We have the opportunity. You can benefit so much. You can share with your sister. Any information you send out, it multiplies and it will come back to you better transformed. There is no need to envy anybody. Everybody is uniquely endowed. And for women, we are so endowed that I'd like us to bring all the capacities we have to bear in governance. We have been equipped with everything. We have the tools, we have the weapon to deliver Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm going to now invite the next speaker, Princess Haman Obels, to come and educate us on voter registration. Thank you. And I'm also inviting Aisha Yesufu to join the panel to engage us women.
I don't have that for me. Now they best. I mean, I don't find enough.
Aisha is such a dancer. So there's a slight.
I can't remember saying Mr. Peter Obi-Datti, not my respect. Then when president get president behave, no they do anyhow.
Do anyhow.
You see anyhow.
So there's a slight change in the name. I mean, I'm going to call on Barrister Ngozi Njoku to come and give us the lecture. It's 10 minutes and then an extra 5 minutes. Please, let's keep to time. You look very beautiful, ma'am.
is here.
So we'll start with Mrs. Aisha Yesufu.
Good afternoon. Okay, I think it's okay. Here we are. You know, Stephen Biko said something. He said the greatest weapon of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. The moment they have a hold over your mind, then they have control over everything. Once upon a time in this country, they used to tell us that votes don't count. How many people believe them? Even though they bought the votes. And one of the things that people like Antiene would normally say to us is that if votes don't count, why then are they buying the votes? Has anybody heard in recent time, have anybody said that votes don't count? No. So what do they tell you now? They tell you about structure. And they tell you that there's no structure, forgetting that the people are the structure. The people are the structure. And when any of us, we decide that we're going to stand for Nigeria, then that's it. The biggest issue we have right now, it's not even about the people who are contesting for office, right? The biggest ones are the ones who have kept Nigeria down for over 60 years, over 6 decades. They have kept Nigeria down and they have used Nigeria the way they want to. And for the first time, they know that if we do this, and we will do this by the grace of God, and what they know is that we will be empowered. And the moment we are empowered, they will no longer have control over our minds. So one thing you must remember is that governance is of two sides, the demand side and the supply side. The people who are voted into office are supposed to supply good governance to us, right? And then those of us who vote them into office will make demands. If you see the politics of 2022, now we are in 2023, it has changed. It's no longer business as usual. It's now business unusual. Why did that happen? The reason why that happened is because citizens decided to participate. And you've seen what is happening. Before it used to be, oh, it's only two parties, certain two parties that will win. Somebody asked me the other day, he said, okay, he was asking me a question, and he said, okay, now that Mr. Peter Obi as the third force. I said, no. Mr. Peter Obi is not the third force, he is the force. There are trials. They said 4 people are tweeting in a room. And indeed, you've seen how 4 people, when they put their minds on something, because that's what Margaret Mead said. He said it takes little people, small people, committed to the cause to make it happen. And you see what has happened now, because citizens are participating. The whole electoral process has changed. The same way also when we get into governance. I'll tell you something. In this country, poverty has been weaponized. And religion also has been weaponized. So people are poor, people are impoverished, and then they are told that just wait. Or first of all, the poverty side, then when it comes to election, they give people 1,000, 2,000. There were people who were coming here today and they were like, okay, are they going to give? I said, no. What we are promising is a better and a greater Nigeria. A Nigeria where you don't need to meet anybody to ask for anything. A Nigeria where you know that your child will be able to have a life that you never dreamed about. A Nigeria where even when we travel out of this country, we have our green passport. People will respect us. That's more than anything. So what they do, first of all, they make people so poor that when they bring 1,000 naira, it becomes something. And then the other one, in terms of religion, they say to you, oh, just look for your own miracle. Don't focus on what is happening. But that's not right. You know, on New Year Day, Mr. Peter Obi was with the IDPs. And a lot of people in this Abuja were saying that they didn't know that there were IDP camps in Abuja. And there was a statement he made. He said, and he was saying to them, that as long as you are in IDP, we all are in IDP. We're all IDPs. We can't, you know, we can't say that some people it's okay for them not to enjoy and then the rest of us begin to enjoy. It's not possible. And so it's very important when it comes to religion, they will tell you to pray. We don't have the patent to prayers. God will not do for us what he has given us the capacity for us to do for ourselves. The same person that will say to me that I should go and pray is in a bulletproof car. So why are they? I remember a 2-year-old wouldn't bring back her girl. There was a 5-year-old. Then she said to her dad, she said, prayers don't stop bullets. And it's a fact. So we must ensure right now, everything that we need, they're all in our hands. We the citizens, this is the time. Once in every 4 years, we pray for a miracle. We pray that a miracle happens. And you know when that miracle happens? On election day. Because then we are in control. We are the ones who decide the people that we get into office. And if we vote for the right person, the person will go there. Let me say to you, I am running for president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria through Mr. Peter Obi. You are running to be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria through Mr. Peter Obi. Over there, you are also running to be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria through Mr. Peter Obi. Every one of us we are running. And so you know what? We are all going to be campaigning in our various places. We are going to sit down. And so the other day they were talking about G5. I said, we will be G5 plus 1. True. I said, may I speak, you know, it's just you don't say all this time English when you speak, and sometimes you will drop out. Area. My son people day here. You know, say we never put down English, you know they sound. Put down. You know they say G5. You know as I day here, so I be one person. When I don't talk to 5 people, waiting that one be not be, can I be the G? You know what I'm saying? I'm the G. So when I don't say, me my own G don't say. When I speak to 5 people, what does that mean? That's additional 5. So that's G, that 5 plus me will be G5 plus 1. What I'm trying to say in essence is that the power belongs to the people. In countries where things work, the people who are in office, they fear the people. Unfortunately for us here, because we've been told that we can't, we believe them, and they have taken the power. It's time for us now to bring the power down to where we are. Don't think that governance does not concern you. A lot of us, we say, oh, you know, politics, I don't do politics. You must do politics. Even when you're in your house thinking of what to wear, should I wear a green? And because I looked through my hijab today, I was like, should I do green? Should I do red? That's politics. I had to make a choice. Governance is very important. It affects every aspect of our lives. The piece where they buy for market, politics they affect them. Because if you put in people where we say they're not going to look after you, insecurity can't take. Farmers when suppose they farm, the day IDP camp. The people who meet that day on New Year Day, most of them are farmers. They suppose they farm, they do beans, they don't farm, do beans. What's going to happen? Your beans will increase. If you can't just say your pikin don't finish school, we have a lot of us, we have children that have finished school. Your pikin don't get job. They will tell you say now which, now old people now lie, which not do you anything. You know what they happen? Now economy now they contract. Let me say economy, they small, jobs no day. And when these jobs no day, what will happen now? You know what saying they will employ them. So it's very critical for us to pick up our PVCs. How many of us get PVC here? Hey! Thank you, that's great. Okay, you even bring your own cup. I beg, that PVC, no na the hide and so no na laminate copy. They show that copy. Fantastic. So you see what we have now, round up quickly to say, our PVCs, they are our power. When we go in there, we must vote for people with competence, character, and capacity. We have a presidential candidate who cares. For me, the most important thing about Mr. Peter Obi is the fact that he listens. Hello? Okay, can you please just calm down? They will come to you. They will get to you. Everything will go around. Thank you so much. For me, the most important thing is that he listens and he has empathy. When you have someone who is ready to listen and someone who has empathy, empathy means they care about you. They want to bring you from where you are to that place that they too are enjoying. Unfortunately, we have selfish leaders who only focus about themselves, who the moment they're enjoying, they do not care about any other person. It is time for us to put people with empathy into office. It's not that when you're in office, you begin to march over people, you begin to, harass people. No, you should show love and care. The most vulnerable amongst us, they must feel safe in our country. And that's what we are asking, we're asking Mr. Peter Obi to do, and that's what he is doing. So please, as much as possible, get your PVCs, let's get this done, and remember something, yes, you can. And I'll round up with a saying of Henry Ford, who said, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Either way, you're right. So it's in our hands. Let's get it done. It's possible. Thank you.
Indeed, it is possible. So I'd like to call on our last speaker.
Your Excellency, the incoming President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, by special grace of God, my own Mr. Peter, Your Excellency, the incoming mother of the nation, Mrs. Obi, permit me also to also recognize my own, the first senator, female senator in the Imo State, distinguished Senator Pisanya, a role model one of us, our national woman leader, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Honestly, I want to thank God for this day because it's a day that I've kept off. I've always discussed about it with our national woman leader. And I'm particularly happy for the vision and the wisdom that you have exhibited in organizing this program. Thank you, my sister Aisha Yusuf. I've been asked to just say something about voter education. And indeed, when Aisha Yusuf was making her remarks, I think she brought on to your PVC. And it's a part of voter education. What is the PVC? In English parlance, is your permanent voter's card. What then is your permanent voter's card? For me, it is a weapon for you to express yourself about leadership of your nation. It's a weapon. When you're talking about protests, you can carry your placards. You can use arm, you can use whatever, even though it's not allowed. But PVC is the most civil power you have to say who will become your leader. Today, I'm particularly happy and privileged to be here amongst women of Nigeria that indeed recognize the fact that Nigeria is in distress and in this rescue. I am in the midst of Nigerian women that actually have identified that God at a time like this has chosen one man in the person of Peter Obi, who will indeed rescue Nigerians from this distress. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this that by the special grace of God, I have served as an Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs in 3 different administrations. And I have an idea of what happened. But this is one man that has come to the fore to bring out all those things that bring Nigerians down, to bring out all those things that make governance ungovernable, that bring out the wrong things that God does not want leaders to do. And that is why I'm very passionate about this program. Today, yes, my topic is on voter education, but I want to simplify it because my people will say, speak grammar. It's all prepare, amen. For the Igbos, when you speak your grammar finish, at this point in time, the thing ends at the polling unit and polling unit. So having recognized the fact that a lot of women have raised up their hands that they have registered, that means we have qualified people in this hall. Congratulations. Because it means therefore that any woman that knows that she must go to register, even when they block you up, even when they throw tear gas at you, that means you know the essence of voters and voting right. So today, I will just want to say a little bit about what you do with your PVC. I once accosted some great man in INEC, one of the, of course, you know, the umpire, the election of umpire. And I was scared about what I was reading in terms of manipulations and all this, all that. I was very, very encouraged with the discussion. because I got to know that indeed on their own part, they have done a lot to make sure at this point in time our voting will count, our votes will count. And for a statement, he just said, Madam, if you tell me you're working for me to this presidency, Madam, you are on the right path, because he knows me. And I was very encouraged. And he wants to tell me that, Madam, you people should not be scared about whatever you hear and what manipulations they want to do. Because the train has a long time gone. The train has left. So by that discussion, I want to encourage Nigerian women that in terms of all those things that scare us about manipulation, the train has gone a long time. Our job now is, what do we do to enter the train? And that is what you do, having your voter education, what we are doing now, knowing your rights. What are we expected to do at our? Each time I try to discuss with my distinguished senator about Imo State and what the women should do. I'm somebody that believes in this, that Nigeria is voting for the woman. The whole world is voting for the woman. It's not voting for the woman because the woman should be president, but because the women are blessed with potentials, we are blessed with so many things to make a positive change. We are not expected to do the talking about change. Are the people that will make the change, and this is the time. That was why the first female summit we organized in Imo State with our distinguished senator, we just said, women arise, the time has come. The time has come, Nigerian women. Today, we may be jumping, we may be singing, we have a lot of comic relief, but the time has come for us to go home and do our work, and do it to the end of that day, February 25, when God will arise and tell us that, yes, I had the Nigerian women. So what do we do with our PVC? Knowing that you have your PVC, right from here, we belong to every booth. I keep telling people, when we speak grammar about politics, I'm not interested in going to sing and clap because we have done this for several decades. What I'm interested in doing is, as a leader, take your oath by yourself that I'm going to deliver my boots. You come from a boot, I come from a boot. At least the minimum is my boot. Look at your boots and look at the voters in that boot. Look at the voting patterns in that boot. What are your rights? Time has gone when they will say, they will come, army will come, police will come. This time around, the new electoral law has changed all those. So you have your weapon. You know about the beavers. Beavers, the presiding officer will come and take a picture, your picture, and capture you. With your PVC, you'll be given the code. Now, what do you do in your booth? Ensure that you know the number of captures they have made. Through that. That will help you so that if they capture 20 voters, and at the end of the day, you find the result of 40, you know that is wrong. And I want to also tell us, part of our problem is that we work so hard during campaigns. After campaign, the day of the election, you use your PVC, you will go and vote after voting. No, this time around, it is wrong. Stay there and monitor your vote. Why do you have to stay there? Because intimidation might come. Because the people we are dealing with, those people that are holding Nigerians on their neck, they may want to do one or two things. And the people that they pay, those people who value money more than anything, might want to raise certain things of notion. But if you as a woman, you remain in your polling unit to monitor what goes on, you have your fellow women to support you whatever you're doing. I know a particular case where, I think when they did the Osun State, they had to force the presiding officer to upload the result because he was trying to do one time. Then somebody had to give him through hotspot to upload the result. So I am trying to bring out, without speaking too much grammar, your voters' rights. You have the right to vote. That is number one. You don't know. And with your PVC, you vote. But it is also important that even as we are listening here, you also start your own first process of voter education. We are privileged to come to Abuja Some of you are living in Abuja. We are privileged to be here. Many other women outside there. When we get home, call these women, call your fellow women. Let them know what you have had there as your right and encourage them and monitor what they are doing. Tell them about what they are going to do with their babies. Nobody should manipulate you. Nobody should blackmail you. Nobody should intimidate you. Because have you ever heard what they said, soldiers shot women? No. It is against international law and nobody will bear it. That is why when we do our vote, you must stay there and move to the collection center with them. If they are inside, you are outside waiting for their result because you know you are voted Obi. And nothing short of Obi will take place. When they know that people are gathered outside the collection center, manipulations will go down. That's one of your rights. So I want to let you know that you have various rights, but from here, whatever you have learned, you go to your various polling units. Because we hear a lot of things. Support groups have been doing a lot. The party has been doing a lot. But you know, the women in the various villages are not on social media. They're not on social media, so they may not know. So this election is something I advise women to take it personal. Take it personal. Go to your various groups. You will tell your fellow women, make sure, even as it is right now, I did it, make sure they all have their PVCs. Now they are starting the distribution of PVC. Some will think that when they go there, they will shoot them. When they go there, they may not collect. Whatever it has taken you to register, make sure you collect your PVC. It is very, very important. And not only will you make sure you have collected your PVC, also ensure that your children, your people in your village, various people, are able to collect their PVC. That's the time you have your power. So we get started from here. When we get home, this is something we have to do in our people. And again, we must be vigilant. Because our people used to say, our eyes must be open. Because some people, while we are here, we are passionate about change in Nigeria. We are passionate about people be knowing that he is the person that can actually help us in this country. I'm not here to relate a lot, but I tell you that because I've worked with several administrations, I can tell you what is the difference between gun and ego. Ebe. But that is for the next time. But for now, what we are doing is that our efforts, our level must never be involved. So having had the opportunity and privilege to be here today and listening to all of us, I want to urge all of us to go to our various communities and ensure that all the women, if not anybody that you see, that they're able to collect their PVC, which they have started distributing. And when they get their PVC, on the day of the elections, don't allow anybody to intimidate you. Because I tell somebody, we are at 90 minutes at 10:30. We are running for our dear lives and for the life of our children and grandchildren. Therefore, we will take this thing very, very seriously. Go to your booth and get the women to also highlight them on the power, on the weapon they have at PVC. And not only highlighting them, and when they vote, they will protect the vote. We must make arrangements to move to the collection center to avoid anybody, any government in power that want to get and manipulate our results. I think for now, I will just have to take it that way because it's not election time, it's action time. And I believe Nigerian women can do it. Yes, we can do it, and God will help us. Thank you.
When women speak, when women speak, women understand. So now it gives me great pleasure to introduce to us, to call upon this podium, somebody who needs no introduction at all. And he's a man in the person of our presidential candidate, His Excellency, with a standing ovation. Let's welcome him once again.
I know.
Thank you, please be seated. Let me recognize a few of the women that are here, and to recognize all of you, because all of you are very, very, very important. So I recognize a few of you, and through them, recognize all of you, and I'll start with them. Of course, my dear wife, who is supposed to be the host of this event. And of course, I recognize the wife of the vice presidential candidate, represented by what I can call you my own dear sister, because he told me interesting thing about my village. Thank you. Of course, that's my big sister, Senator here. Our Senator Ireti Kingibe is there. My sister and our Minister of Finance is there. Of course, the wife of our deputy campaign DG, doctor, and the wonderful woman that's helping to do everything for us. And of course, the daughter of our first elected vice president of Nigeria, Let me start on order existing protocol. And most important, today is a women event. So, a national woman leader, a wonderful woman who has been at the heart of organizing and packaging all this event. Let me now stand on order existing protocol. First is to appeal to you. I was not part of this event. Even when my name is recorded there, I was just plainly passing by. And you know, somebody said something here. If women want to change it, they will change it. And that's it. I was supposed to be traveling to Enugu, the earlier flight, when my wife said, if you don't come to this here, if I don't see you here, I won't tell you what will happen. I don't get my flight too, because I don't want anything to happen. So I decided that I must pass by. And since I've been begging her, since I passed by, can I go now? She said no. You must speak to them. Then this is a women's conference, and it is important. She says something that I took note. Social capital. And I know that if there's the people who have installed social capital, it is women. Because they can influence anything they want to influence. You know, they can influence anything they want to influence. And anything they want, they don't stop demanding it. They will remain consistent until you do it. I don't do that as a marketing person. I'm a salesperson. They will tell you if you want to sell anything, convince the women and the children. And that product will be sold. They will buy it because they keep repeating it to the extent that no matter how long, how many times you get annoyed, they still say the same thing. At the time, say, okay, let me just do this, let them discuss. So that is what it is. Today you're having a conference. I want you to please listen to each other. You now live in a country that is going through a very, very, very difficult time. A country where nobody is sure of what will happen next. A country where you leave your house every day, you're not sure whether you will come back home. A country where anything can happen. You know, all you hear in this country today is bad news. Bad news. You get up, oh, you open, oh, this man shot.
4 police people killed, like it happened yesterday, and 1 politician survived, or anybody, because maybe it's in bulletproof car. My dear people, 4 Nigerians died. And everybody in Nigeria died. Like I told the people in IDP camp, I went to IDP camp Ash. And if you go there, it's in Abuja here. I'm not saying outside Abuja. Abuja here. If you go there, they have over 5,000 people living in a place. Ordinarily, you will not keep animals. 5,000 of them have only 1 bedroom clinic, 1 bedroom, 1 room. In that 1 room clinic, there is no doctor, there is no nurse. The nurse that works there is a volunteer woman who said, I watched so many women die, and I decided I cannot or stay here. She lives in that clinic, 1 room. She has no other place. She only people who are sick, who are widow, they don't have 1,000, 2,000 to pay for it. I followed the woman to where he stays with his 5 children and the husband living in the same. The day was there, sleeping in the same 1 tiny room that ordinarily is not enough for 1 person. That's where 6 of them stay. And I said, where do you run the shower? He took me there. Where is the toilet? Of course, you can guess where the toilet is. Anywhere. You know, that entire place has no single ball. They have no school. They have nothing. But the rest of us live as if, oh, we are stars, we are from the moon. And that is what I told them. As long as you're here, Nigeria is in IDP. People think it's happening in Medugri, it's not happening to them. No Igbo man, no foreigner. I've been traveled all over the world. Who asks you whether you're from East or West or Central in Nigeria? Once you say you're from Nigeria, it has classified all of you as people who live in IDP camp. On Christmas, I was in another IDP camp in Benue. I came to celebrate Christmas with them. And I said, they told me, like the people told me in first of, we have never seen anybody from government here. And they've been there. How long have you stayed there? 3 years. How can Nigerians live in their own country in IDP camp? When I went there on the first, the same people, one after the other, said, we have never seen somebody from government here. And they just in Abuja here, where people can drive in less than 1 hour. And less than 1 hour, all of us are in one good restaurant, eating shrimps, eating all sorts of sophisticated food. But just across there, people don't know where the next meal will come from. And everybody's happy. If you're happy when people don't eat and walk, you're an animal. Because you don't have a blood in your system. I have been working in refugee. It's one of the things I've done all my life. I've been everywhere where there's crisis. I always said, President Jonathan was surprised when I walked into his office and said, I want to go to Haiti. He said, Peter, why do you want to go to Haiti? I said, they just had an earthquake. He said, what is your own? I said, Peter, I go to every place in the world where there's problem. Because of that, I've been from Somalia to Afghanistan to everyone. He said, I've been to all of them. He said to me, I said, yes. I said, yeah. I want to go to Haiti. They have an earthquake. Children want full school. I told him, I said, a school with over 100 students went on them, all of them. So I'm going to go there to help them rebuild. And people were surprised. Even people in government of Haiti were surprised when I arrived there. I said, Mr. President, I've always withdrawn my son from school. He said, you're going with your son? I said, yes. I always want him to know how lucky he is in life. And that luck is not by anybody, but it's grace. And he should not abuse grace whenever he has to choose. For it. It is by grace of God. And we arrived there. Yes, I was supposed to stay 2 weeks. I stayed 1 week. You know why I stayed 1 week? I didn't know that Nigerian police, I hate the police, do what they call exchange of program. So when I was there, they were doing exchange of program. In the camp, in the camp, we were queued up in the morning to go and shower because we were all in the camp. A policeman saw me and shouted, said that I resemble one governor from there. I told him I am. So he thought maybe there's something that happened. I said, oh, I just came here. But he made everybody on me in the camp. So I had to leave the weekend. But what he taught me, this is what people go through. When you now go to IDP camp here, you see the same things happening. People don't know where they're going to eat. Children don't know. They ask the children, where is the school? They say no school. We don't go to school. How long have you been here? 4 years. Why did I start with this? It is important. When Aisha was talking, she said, you need people in governance with character. You need people who is competent. You need people with commitment. If I listen to you. And most important, you need people with compassion. A leader must have compassion. If you have all those ones, you can be a tyrant and be competent. But you must be able to look back. When I went to Benue during flood, there's a woman that lost her husband and her house was flooded. And she refused to come out. She was ready to go without trouble. People didn't know why I went on the boat without jacket. Was to go and greet that woman and make her to understand that she has to be alive. She's lost her husband and house, but she hasn't lost her life. But you can go on and on and on like that. And that is what we need to do. So, women, today you're having conference. It's for you to look back at the country where you live. Those of you who are old enough, ask yourself, how did we come here? How did we arrive here? Why is Nigeria like this? It is like this because of leadership failure over the years. They have refused to invest in people. Today, the good paper you're reading here, today Nigeria has surpassed India in infant mortality. India is 1.7 billion in population. We are 200, and we have surpassed them. Today, Nigeria has surpassed India and China in poverty, in multidimensional poverty. In fact, it will shock you. India is 1.4 billion. China is 1.4 billion. Two of them is 2.8 billion. But Nigeria have more people living in poverty than two of them combined. And there are 14 times our population. So when we see, how did we get here? What happened? Was it like this yesterday? No. India today can deal. If you go to India today, anybody, no matter how poor you are, you have access to health facility. No matter how poor you are, you have access to health facility. I went to India. I was the last person to visit Tarak Delhi Hospital. I went to India. Her hospital on this side was a posh hospital, the same hospital. On this side, the same hospital have a place where it is like it's meant for smaller, poor persons. And I wanted to know the difference between the two hospitals. So I went to the proprietors of the hospital. I said, why do you have this and this? He told me that for every big hospital in India, you must have a side where you treat poor people. And I said, how is it done? He said, everything is covered by insurance. So big people pay more and small people cannot contribute, also looked after. In Nigeria, if you're on this side, once you're sick, you can just be buying oil and anointing oil or whatever oil and pray that your death will come. You know, and that's it. You go to Indonesia, another country that is 270 million people. I went there, I went to the hospital. How is it that everybody that is sick here, you looked after, I said, listen. In fact, the way they answered me, that was shocking. He said, Peter, these people are people we need to serve and work for us. If they are not well, who will work for us? So you could see the compassion, you see a society. These are what our society is like. So what we do now is, okay, Peter wants to be president, he's running around with everybody. You see you people, tomorrow is president, he goes into Asoro, he starts telling you, excuses, what I saw when I came in, what were you seeing when you were campaigning? These problems are there. We want you to start solving it. Don't tell us any excuse. Or you start reminding us, oh, when I came in, these people spoiled it 16 years ago. It was this who were, we didn't hire you to remind us our past. We hired you to start solving the problem. Our past we already know. That's why we hired you. My dear people, we're going for election. Nigeria is going through difficulty. Nobody is going to solve it. Those 20 million out of school children, nothing will happen. No amount of prayer will make them to be educated overnight. No amount of prayer will pull people out of poverty. No. Instead, more will go into poverty. The only thing God can do for us is giving us opportunity, like I just said, to see among 18 of us who want to be president today, who can we trust? Because all of us are going to tell you a 10-school story. Some will have better English than what I'm doing now. Some will have better language. So, what you need is start asking questions. This man who is promising this, let's look at his background. I know what he promised people in the past. Which one did he fulfill? I know what, even start from his house. You can even ask his wife whether he has fulfilled the one he promised at home. Because these are promises, they promise everyone. Find out where he lives. Can ask his children, can ask them. So that is what you need to do now. Don't just go and say, oh, it's from my tribe. Please, do not vote anybody because it's your tribe. No. I'm from the southeast. I'm an Igbo man. I'm a proud Nigerian. And I'm a proud Igbo man. But I'm not running this election based on Igbo man, where I come from. I'm running this election as a Nigerian. So don't follow anybody. The 10 poorest states in this country, 9 is in the north. So it has nothing to do with tribe. And your children don't have work today. The highest number out of people who are not employed today, young youth in their productive age, doing nothing, I don't know. The highest number out of school children, I don't know. The highest, I can go on and on. When we talk about infant mortality, it's worse in the north. So it has nothing to do with tribe. No tribe buys bread cheaper. Otherwise, show me where they buy. I'll go there and buy my own. There's no tribe that have road, town you can drive on. Today, you can't go from Abuja to Kaduna by road. It's not safe. By air, it's not safe. By train, it's not safe. So, is it because Southern is president? No. Let nobody tell you about his religion. No religion buys bread. In fact, I've seen people who tell me they have prayed and prayed and prayed, and I said, just lock yourself in the room. If you pray for 24 hours and money comes through the door, or bread comes through the door, then come and hire me. I will join you You must buy the bread with money. If you tell me that you prayed and saw money, for me, I'll call police. It's only somebody's money. So it's not about prayer. It's not about religion. What we need is commitment. Your country is not productive. And that have a simple thing which we've sat down. Datti and I walk and talk every day. We walk and talk every day. Like I always tell him, whenever he calls me and said, my brother, I have a problem. I will always say, Peter, what is the problem again? I tell him, I have a problem. I went to this ID clicker. Whenever I look at the enormity of the work, I keep asking myself, like I told you, no more excellency. Excellency don't go. This one, now walk. 24 hours. There's no room for excellency. It's work 24 hours. Because what are you going to tell these people? What are you going to do? We need to secure the country. We need to unite the country. That's why we said our job is to secure and unite the country. You need to ensure that there's rule of law, there's law and order. On December 26th, on the street of Jos, a young lady, a graduate, going back from work, was raped to death in our country. And nobody is not news. It's not news anywhere. This December, I think December 23rd, it was a Christmas delegation. In Jos, he didn't do anything wrong. She went to work, finished work, going home. You know, in any other country, you will be, but how can you use when there's this one is because it happened in township. Who knows what is happening in all the villages? On 25th, police killed a pregnant woman. It was used because it happened in Lagos, where people knew. You know how many they're killing all over the place. So we need to talk about rule of law. We need to talk about law and order. Children, our young people are arrested every day for holding even laptop. These are things we need to stop. That's what we say. We must bring law and order. We say we must move the country from consumption to production. That is the only way we can create jobs. You cannot create jobs in a country that is not productive. Your country is not producing anything. Your country is not doing anything. All that is happening here is sharing mentality and stealing mentality. Steal as much as you can so that you can own a house in Baitama, in Asoko, in London, in America, in Estonia, everywhere in the world. Only you. Only one person. Only one person. And it's a competition. Who will steal more? And everybody is happy. Everybody is happy. The more you steal, the better. The more excellency it becomes. You know what is excellence? It is after fair, have good, very good, best, excellent. Excellent is when they call us excellent. It means an excellent person we can emulate. How can you teach this? Only in Nigeria. I said every day, I'm not excellent. But when I see things people do in government, my heart bleeds. How would they be doing this? How do we look at unemployed people in the street? How do you look at people who have worked, whose pension have not been paid? And you're running around, living a first-class life. During holidays, you go to the moon and celebrate with your children and come back with their money. It doesn't happen to anyone. So I'm pleading with you. We have an opportunity to verify our background, to make this country productive, to make it to work. If we make it productive, you're going to have a job, You're going to do this. Today, our country is as big as every other country. We are waiting to share money from oil. Our oil line is being stolen by people in government. Somebody every single day, people ask me, Peter, how are we going to control rate of exchange? I said, it's very simple. Exchange rate is controlled by your reserve. Your reserve is a function of your export. You're not manufacturing, you're not exporting anything. I said, you only export oil. That is your main export. It brings 80% of your foreign exchange. Last year, including all the oils, all our exports is just 18.9 trillion. At 650 is less than $30 billion. Bangladesh exported clothing at $6 billion. Just clothing. If you go to Bangladesh, out of the over 10 million people that are employed in clothing industry, 60-something% are women. I was there. I went there with Leslie, former minister in Nigeria. Two of us went there. I went to one place to the other. I said, listen, I want to see if you see how women came in groups. Because you know, when you talk about business and success of anything, you can't beat it if you have women. I'm telling you from experience, I served as a governor. I served as the chairman of the bank. 2 days ago, I was in a big man's house and I told him I couldn't have succeeded in the banking industry if I didn't have women around me. Because when they believe, they can find. I said I have a risk officer and a treasurer that they do. Everything I said, the chairman, you can't do this. They will even look at my face and say, you can sack us. But we can't allow you to do this. I came in as the governor. Everybody will do that. From my chief of staff to my palm sec in the office and everything, all women. I did not like my chief of staff. You know, governor can't do it. Because they believe it. So I'm pleading with all of you. I'm only, like I said, passing by, but pleading with you. Try to ensure that this year we don't go back to that mistake of somebody telling us, giving us excuse. We want to change the country. We want Nigeria to feed itself. The biggest physical asset of this country is the vast uncultivated land in the north. We want to put money, and that said it every day. I said that the north will celebrate me and you. We will put their people out of poverty. We will earn 5 times what we earn from oil from the land in the north. What is the land? Niger State is one of the poorest states in Nigeria. Niger State, standing with 76.3 thousand square kilometers of land. Fertile land, far more fertile land than anywhere I can imagine in the world. Niger State can feed Nigeria. Niger State can export goods. Niger State is 2.5 times Netherlands. And the agricultural export of Netherlands last year is $120 billion. That is 4 times what we earn from all our exports. And they are 2.5 times. Niger State gets from the 3 allocation after deduction of 50 billion naira. So if they're able to sell those 2% of what the land is doing, they will earn $2.4 billion. And 650 is 1.5 trillion, 30 times what they get for sharing. But they are going there. People followed me to Taraba. Taraba is looking for food. Taraba is hungry. It's one of the poorest countries. Taraba is bigger than Belgium and Israel combined. Yes, the Belgium is at 30.9 thousand square kilometers. Israel is 22.1. That's 53. Taraba is 4.4. But they are looking for it. They are looking for where to earn a living. Taraba is on the hills of Mambila. You can do flour there. Go to Kenya. You see young people who are cultivating flour. There's no rocket science in flour. If you go there, see plane carrying it everywhere. But people are looking for flower to give for love. At least if you can't give it here, you can cultivate it for them. I don't give it flower. Because most for those who can give it. There's nothing. They have enough place to do it. You know, they do. Kenya end over half $1 billion naira from cultivating flower. I have somebody from Kenya. I have a very good friend in top places in Kenya. He told me in December, he said, Peter, I wanted to send a very good bag flower. I said, no. They were more serious in here than flower. He said, why to send me rice? Flower, no. But because the rice is cheap. You can grow tea there. You can grow coffee. In that place, Ethiopia exported coffee more than $1.1 billion. You list it endless, but we are not doing anything. Our young people are not doing anything. So please, I'm begging. That's my way of ending my contribution. This year's election must be based on character we can trust. Character we can trust. So people can stop stealing our money. It must be based on competence. It must be based on commitment. And like I said, on compassion. I am not running. I don't want you to vote because it's my turn. It's not my turn. It's the turn of Nigerians to take back their country. It's the turn of your children. It's the turn of those youth who are being gunned down every day. It's one of their youth. I have a colleague, as you know, who survived assassination yesterday, but 4 police died. And somebody said, have you called him to just encourage him? And I said, who will call the mothers and fathers of the police? Because he survived. But some other people died. They died protecting us. Who will look after their family? How will they survive? They were just doing their work. These are things my society, these are things my people don't have. They have no insurance. Their family have no nothing. They died. These are things that want to change. We want to be able to say that this man died of looting. We are going to attend his burial. We're going to look after his children. We're going to look after his days. These are things that will encourage people to work for their country. That's what we want to do. That's what I want to do. So I agree with you. Continue. Don't let them get with this abuse this time. Don't listen to their structure. Aisha has talked about structure. Don't listen to the structure. It's the structure of criminality. The structure that have been stealing your oil. The structure that have been killing your children. The structure that produced 130 million people in poverty. This is the time to throw away that structure. Thank you and God bless
The president, you think we are one better tomorrow. We don't want to do. The president, if we come better tomorrow. I don't want to know what you say, so I don't want to. I don't so much. Situation that they get us to be. My brother, sister, get your BBC. Maybe you let the people TV. Now my president, you want better tomorrow. We don't want to do.
So in summary,
what our presidential candidates said to us is go and get your. It is that PVC you're going to use to swallow all those snakes that have been stealing your money. Go and get your Peter's victory card. Those of us voting for Peter Obi, our PVC is called Peter's victory card. Let's do that once again. Our PVC is called Peter's victory card. Our presidential candidates. There's one story I want to tell you. Now I like to tell stories. To tell you how important women have always been in his cabinet. When he was governor of Anambra State, and everything I'm saying now, please go and verify. His deputy governor was a woman. His commissioner of youth and sports was a woman. His commissioner for education, chief of staff. His commissioner for economic planning, also a woman. His commissioner for finance, his permanent secretary, his accountant general of the state was a woman, and commissioner obviously for women affairs. So I say this to say this is a man that has a vision for the place of women in government, unprecedented all over in Nigeria. So I would like to also call, before we go into the question and answer session, let's remember that we had women on the panel who addressed us on certain things. But before then, I would like to introduce to us somebody who's going to be speaking on behalf of our vice presidential candidate's wife, in the person of Hajiya. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies. I'm here to deliver a good message from her Excellency Hajiya Aisha. Your Excellency, our incoming First Lady, Mrs. Margaret Peter Obi, my sister, Senator Chris Anyanwu, my sister, Senator Benadi Usman, our able national woman leader, our incoming president and incoming Senate for the FCT, Senator for the FCT, Hajiya Njenje, all other protocols observed. Please, because we have to be brief. The Aisha is sending her apologies for not being here. She would have loved to be here, but she's unavoidable absent. The message is, women, please and please, make sure you vote Peter Obi and Datti. And the only way you can do it is with your PVC. I will tell you a story, what is going on now. They will come round to buy your votes, to buy your PVCs. Unfortunately, they can't use those PVCs. What they normally do is to destroy them, to make sure that you don't vote. That's what they are doing. They can't do anything with it. So please, if it is 100 million they are going to give you, means we are selling your children's future. Forget about yours. Your children's future is in that PVC. Please, and please, make sure you guide it and make sure you vote Peter Obi. Peter Obi is a game changer. Peter Obi is the president Nigeria needs for now.
Peter Obi is the one that is going to bring change. I'm from the north. Aisha is from the north. Jeti is from the north. A lot of us here are from the north. But we believe in Peter Obi because we want to change the change. And the only people that can do that. So please and please, we need you to come together. We are all our sisters' keepers. We don't want to be, we should not show tribalism or whatever. Whatever you do, bear in mind that this is your fight. The women, this is your fight. You have to fight it. Go and grab it. It's yours. Because if you allow this time to go, any other person that comes, don't blame anybody because you are the best managers. You manage your homes very well. So therefore, Nigeria is yours, it's for the women and you now through Peter Obi. Please and please vote Peter Obi come 23 or 25th February 2023. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hajiya. Please, I have a round of applause. We would like to quickly recognize Nigerian Labour Congress, the National Working Committee, NWC, the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Organization. We would also like to recognize retired Army Officers' Wives Association. We would like to recognize the Catholic Women Organization. Women in Trade and Agriculture, we recognize you. Our presidential candidate always tells us that we're moving from consumption to... So you guys are very important to us. Thank you and welcome. We're now going into the question and answer session.
You say waiting. You show me waiting happen. Eh? Okay, my God dance. Okay, the dance we go to one, huh? We go to one. So to round up this session, it's a great honor to introduce the wife of the presidential candidate Labour Party, Mrs. Margaret Peter Obi.
My president, you think we are one better tomorrow.
Mama, Papa, Pikin. Women on a day here. You get some people who don't go because people don't go. Those people who go and not sabi. Then they say man ahead. Who they turn the head? Who they turn the head? And neck go, no get neck, no fit turn head. I want to thank each and every one of you for making out time to come here. I know it's the festive season. People are either with their families, coming back from their various homes to the FCT, but we found time to come here. Thank you very much, and God bless you. His Excellency, Mr. Pete Obi, the presidential candidate of the largest party in Nigeria, the party where Sabi wrote, the party for you and me, and my dear husband, Mr. Pete Obi, the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Dr. Datti Baba-Ahmed, and his amiable wife, Aisha Baba-Ahmed, my woman leader. She's the one that propels all of us. I want to especially recognize you. And I also want to, a lot of you might not have known, a woman leader last month lost her dear husband. I pray God to console you, to strengthen you. It's not easy, but God will give you the grace, give you the strength to continue to pilot the affairs of your family, guide your children, and most importantly, strengthen you for the future of Nigeria. So we, the women of the Labour Party and Nigerian women here present, please accept our sincere sympathy. And we appreciate you for finding time, despite your mourning, to be with us. My dear sister, accept our sympathy. DG, you know we have some lovely men here. We're gender friendly in the Labour Party. There are many of them here. DG is here. One I call Uncle Oho. You know why I call him Uncle Oho? He solves all our problems, but just smiling. He doesn't talk, he just keeps smiling. But he's solving our problem. Uncle Oho, thank you very much. And my in-law, he's one of the people that mobilize for us when we go on campaign. You're welcome. My former Commissioner of Agriculture in Anambra State. And say when you do well, even when you come up for the place, people will see they follow you. This was a man that was a commissioner when in our first tenure in Anambra State. Dr. Opona, I thank you. Dr. Mike also was one of our staffs in Anambra State. He was an SA to the governor, and he's here present. Thank you. And a lovely man in a red hat. Thank you very much for being here. I said, let me recognize the men first, and then we come to women. A distinguished Senator, Chrissy Ayawo. If you're from the East, you will know her. She's a woman of excellence when it comes to the media. So, distinguished Senator, we greet you. Welcome. Our former Minister of Finance. For Labour Party, we get something. Now she dey look at money during Baba time. Honorable Minister Nedadi Usman, we greet you. And this is my Auntie Reti. Let me tell you something. When Auntie Reti was in government, when her husband was in government, I think I was probably 10 years old. But don't calculate my age, don't try it. I'm old enough. She's my distinguished senator. She'll be representing you here in the FCT. A woman can do it. And this is, I call her distinguished senator because the Bible says, speak into what you believe, and we are believing that she will make it. Distinguished Senator Ireti Kingibe. The women of the TUC, NLC, I recognize you. Can all the 36 women leaders stand up for a general ovation? Thank you, my women leaders in the different states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. These are the women that pilot the affairs of Labour Party. Thank you very much for being here today. I won't forget our greatest people, the support groups, women of the support group, women with disabilities, our dear market women, women from the church, and our everyday women. Please, if I didn't call you, you're the most special, actually. I'm being honest. The National Working Committee of the Labour Party, the women there, the presidential campaign committee, I recognize you, the women, and our most distinguished speakers. Thank you very much, Ma. That was well spoken. We can do something. And today we will prove to them on February 26th, when we don't vote, we'll finish. We will prove to them, say, now we get Nigeria. Hi, Aisha, this is our area. You who don't know, I'm from the south and we know they carry us. I mean, they carry us. Oh, we know they carry us. I'm people, but oh, so we from the south. Aisha is one of us, and everybody in Nigeria knows who she is. We thank you for coming. And Lady Njoku, I think you say if you do well, people will follow you. She was a Honorable Commissioner of Women Affairs in Imo State for our dear Excellency Hakim, and that was my first time of meeting her. And we used to work together because we had the Southeast Women's Forum. So thank you very much, everybody. I know the press is here, so I will read something from paper. But when I finish this paper, we will talk. Woman talk to woman. Woman talk to woman. So let me read what is on paper for the sake of the press. I want to talk to the Nigerian woman in a way they understand. All that is busy, no work for me. I'm an everyday person. People can testify to it when I was the first lady of Anambra State. So please bear with me. It won't take long, this paper. But when we finish, I finish reading what is in the paper, I would now talk to you as a fellow sister, as a mother, as a friend, as a daughter. It is my honor and privilege to stand before you today. And I thank you for your kind attention. We are gathered here today because we are patriots. We believe in one Nigeria and believe it is worth fighting for. A home that we must build with our own hands. We are here because we believe that the nation is speeding downhill in the wrong direction. And now it's approaching a cliff into a deep, dark abyss. Together, we must take action to turn the nation around and head it in the right direction. There is no better team to head Nigeria at the time, like this time of Mr. Peter Obi and Senator Obi-Datti Ahmed. Women make over 49% of the Nigerian population, and by June this year, 2023, women and youth already make up over 75% of the registered voters in Nigeria. Why then should we be silent? This is why we're making this call to women. You can and must empower the nation to bed forth a new Nigeria. It is possible. When things go bad, women are the ones that suffer the most. I therefore encourage you to look at what the candidates have to offer you. As women, look at their track record and then vote accordingly. From access to finance, to healthcare, and also economic empowerment and inclusive government, the Obi-Datti policies show women that a new Nigeria where women take their rightful place is possible. In finance, even though it is a woman that is the primary caregiver in Nigeria, many women from petty trading to farming to small businesses to increasing aspiring to bigger corporations hustle to ensure their families are well catered for. It is no secret that women suffer disproportionately from lack of access to finance. Please, excuse me, for our ushers, please, can you stop sharing, please? This wouldn't take 2 minutes and it will be over. Thank you. Please excuse me, the lady over there. There is lack of access to credit in the formal sector to 98% of women. Yet, when you compare those that borrow money with their male counterparts, they perform better. Men have a higher default rate, with all due respect, but this is actually true. The Obi-Datti Pact with women is that they will ensure increased access to finance for women. We know that more money in the hands of women equates to a better life for our children. We are the ones that are raising the leaders of tomorrow. This is why we must step out and vote for Obi-Datti ticket and the Labour Party. In human capital development, many women have been rendered as economic consumers because none have invested in developing their skills to enable them to economically be productive. The Obi-Datti government has promised to invest in skill training in various fields to ensure that women have the opportunity to participate in active members and be active members of the labor force. These skills will increase the earning potential of women, especially in the rural areas, and afford them the dignity to make money for themselves, thus reducing the chances of these women being helpless victims in abusive relationships. As I mentioned earlier, women are disproportionately affected by inadequate health care in Nigeria. In the new Nigeria under the Obi-Datti administration, there will be an increase in national health insurance to ensure that millions of Nigerians, of poorest Nigerians, are covered, including pregnant women and people living with disability. With the Nigerian population made over 49% of women, women have high literacy rates with between 60 to 70%. Literacy rates among females, yet it is disheartening to see that only 6% of the legislature are female. What happens when half of the population and more than half of the population are not in the hall where decisions are made? That affects our lives and the decisions made pertaining us women. The Obi-Datti government is committed to ensuring that women and youth will be represented in government by law, not a token of sprinkle of women. The time for complaining is over. God has presented us with a unique opportunity, and we must do our part as women and as mothers of the nation to truly better Nigeria we want to see. Do not despair, my dear sisters, mothers, friends, daughters. Indeed, a new Nigeria is possible. And with your participation, a new Nigeria will be born at the election polls on 25th of February this year. Here is how we do it. First, you must believe that we women have the numbers. We must believe in ourselves. We have the numbers and we have the power to make this change. The change is actually in our hands. Secondly, you must enlist your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, your people in the market, wherever you have a business or in the churches. Tell them what you know about us, the Labour Party. Tell them what you know about Obi-Datti government, which we're trying to form. It's very important. If you look at a manifesto you will see all they can do. But in a summary, I will talk of certain things that bother women shortly. Show your fellow women that a new Nigeria is possible. Make sure they come out on election day. On election day, if you're going to vote, call your sister. If your daughter is registered over 18, call her, your co-wife, your friend, your member in your church, and go to your polling units and cast your vote. Report any issues in your polling unit because we women are very observant. We have the numbers. We can give this country a better country. We can birth a new Nigeria. The time is now. Empower yourself as a woman, and new Nigeria is possible. Thank you very much. We don't need to hold it. This was for the benefit of the press. My dear sisters, mothers, friends, daughters, a lot of us have spoken here. I thank our lovely speakers, and most especially our presidential candidate has spoken. I'm not going to blow my trumpet because I happen to be married to him, but I want to tell Nigerian women one thing: hold me responsible. If come February 25th, Peter Obi is voted in as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by the special grace of God, hold me responsible from May 29 when he's sworn in. You know, even in our different traditions and culture, women are more the brunt of any problem. So the time has come. As our presidential candidate said, ask for antecedents. Wetin oyibo dey call antecedents, we say make you ask how the person be. If na for Igbo, we get one proverb wey say you go stay for house first fine before you go outside. Ask questions. And this job in Nigeria now, what Nigeria needs now, it's a young, hardworking, dynamic, intelligent man. And we in the Labour Party, we have it. We have it. We are not boasting, but we are.
We actually have it. So I am begging on all Nigerian women. If your children don't go, your child doesn't go to school, it's you. Your child goes to school, doesn't have a job, it's you. Your husband even comes back, there's no food, it's you. You have problem in your community caused by the men, with all due respect, is the women. They'll say it's us that went to talk to, and then there's a problem. So each and everywhere you go, they blame us. But now in Nigeria, we think we have an opportunity for them not to blame us. Abina so, waiting we want now. When they stop to talk, say, now woman cause this, woman no cause that. When they talk, say, now because of woman, you Nigeria, they waiting. But now because of woman, our children, they go school. Now because of woman, our children get work. You know why they go say because of us? Because now we get the number to put the rule for Nigeria. Whether you like them or not, that's the truth. So if this our last bus stop, no work, this is not a big problem. And as if you see me so, I know one problem. Now one problem. So the time don't come. If you don't get your PVC or you never collect them, go collect them. That PVC important pass 1,000 naira. Important pass 10,000. Important pass even 100,000 naira. Even 1 million. You know why? Because that are the ticket where you go take elect person where go rule you and rule you better. If they come give you money, collect them more. And they tell them for another state, collect them by your money, collect them, chop and where we put for pocket. Because that your money where they're supposed to use work for you, then they give you. So collect them, put for hand. But waiting and they tell you and say, make you vote your conscience. If you want just chop the rice and the money where they give you, after 1 week, you don't finish, you collect and vote who you want. But if you want, make your complaint, your pikin go school, you go hospital, you fit get health care, your children get work, you sleep for night, wake up, come out, no fear. But most importantly, this is our country, Nigeria, the one. Make you vote waiting. But I don't know. Me, I know. Make we vote waiting. Make we vote waiting. A vote for Labour Party is a unifying force for Nigeria. A vote for us, Obi-Datti ticket, is a unifying force for Nigeria. Don't be waiting, we go talk for public. But if you understand, you understand. Make you take your tongue, count your teeth for waiting I talk so. So I dey beg una. Time don't reach you. Today na 53 days. If you go back your place where you did, tell the story. You not be even story where they lie. We fit prove where this P2B come from. We fit prove where he goes school. We fit prove who he be classmate. We fit prove where how old he be. We fit prove who be his wife. We fit prove how many children he be. We fit prove the work where he don't do. We fit ask people about that. As I talk, say you go stay for house fine before you go outside. So you fit ask people about this man wey be P2B. And he don't create well, even his vice wey be that. Even I don't know who now where they go Abuja here. Now you get based university. So if he fit do university as he day, what he go do when he gets there? Actually, no will go strike again. Because you know what? If teachers, lecturers dey for strike, if they lose money for base. That's true now, common sense. So this thing where we say our children dey strike, people go to work then. Because in small business, they lose them. So you go try everything to work, make it work. So I dey appeal to now. This thing no hand. but it dey her hand. If you when they also publish voters register, you go find say women and young people we dey over 75%. So no be us get to vote, no be us get put the governor, no be us get to put the House of Rep, no be us get to put the councillor, State House of Assembly, and most importantly president. They know they talk say we don't get structure. Structure now you go in English. Structure, that's the way they call structure. Now you go and a structure where they take chop money. You give me today, what about tomorrow? I no get light, I no get with water, I no picture, my picking no goes. That's not the structure. So now time don't reach when we must break that structure. You and me are the structure. It don't reach time where we go say enough is enough. God don't they come down. I be Christian and they go church, but none of us don't ever see God. Nobody that deceive you. Nobody don't ever see God. Even us for our fellow Muslim, nobody don't see God. God, they walk through person. And he don't give us opportunity. Make we not throw away am. Today, we dey suffer. Our children, they suffer. I beg, we don't do. Make we come out, come forth. Don't make anybody deceive you. Say, woman, don't fit do anything. I give you common example now. We get head, though. All our men, with all due respect, now be ahead. But you see, you fit turn your head if this neck no. Oh, yeah, try am now. You don't fit now. So this assignment within Nigeria and an assignment with this 53-day assignment. You don't reach. God be a pass mark. Now be a teacher we go tick and put. So the assignment. If you want pass the assignment, what you go get? What you go get? What you go do? Who you go vote? Who you go vote? Don't finish now. So now I dey beg now because now don't be government where you don't go fit reach. Now government will go do wetin everybody wants. You and me want. It go better for me, better for you, better for your sister, better for your mama, better for your children, better for your husband. Time don't reach. We don't get too much time, though. But I believe say Nigerian women no go fall my hand. Now go fall my hand. No, I don't fall my hand. Though. Anybody when they tell you say it will be the wrong because it be Igbo man, lie. Me wife, I be from Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom when I dey here. Akwa Ibom here. Akwa Ibom here. So no be try thing now. If it will be film married me 30-something years, it dey tribal. So no be tribe. And no be religion. And no be time of talk. So a time of Nigeria to take back the country. We want to take back this country. So it don't reach time. So I thank everybody as we come here. Today na 3rd of January. Now do well. Una no say for here, we know they give shish. But anyhow, we una see us, una take a bit. So we thank all of you now. We thank all our support groups. You get people, even if they don't belong to support groups, they walk. They talk about Obi-Datti ticket, Labour Party. We thank you now well. Don't think say we don't recognize you now. We recognize you now well. We thank even all our mama and papa. We dey see old women where they pray, they contribute, they do all kinds of things to help support Labour Party and Obi-Datti ticket. We thank you. We thank our men though. As I come here, sit down with us. God bless you now. Make una dey provide for us. We thank our woman leader. We thank our vice presidential candidate's wife. She no fit come, but next time, this town hall where we dey do, We go do am for all the states. So if you dey Ekiti on Thursday, we dey there. We dey Osun on Friday, no, on Friday, Osun on Saturday. We go come. Even if na one or two woman with Tusi, we go talk, spread the message. Because one thing we get now, na to spread our message, make we get to where promised land. So I thank una well. I thank our press people. Make una no quote wetin I no talk. I take up beg you. I beg you. I thank una well. I thank our DJ. Blessed among women, all the men wey dey, the people wey dey social, the people wey dey do computer. We thank them. We thank all the beautiful girls wey be usher. Even our security men, we thank them. Abeg, make una know say Labour Party win that ticket no hate police. All we want make police be your friend. If you stop, police stop you. You ask them for direction, give you direction. So we don't hate police. All we want now, police to be your friend and reform police. So we thank everybody. As soon as they go back, this is the beginning of the year. God will bless our homes. He will bless the work of our hands. He will bless our country, Nigeria. You don't say where we dey cry, but now we dey pray to God to answer us. And I believe, say, God will answer all our prayer. So thank you, everybody. Have a safe trip back, and God bless you all.
So our president, Mrs. Obi has just given instructions, and I'll be handing over the mic just before our question and answers, and we will go back to our dancing competition. So my instructions, our national women leader.
No woman. No woman. Woman talk to woman. At the back, they're not answering me. Woman talk to woman. Have we understood? Have we really understood? Ya Allah, Mungode Maka, Dakai Mumataye. Ya Allah, Mungode Maka, Dakai Haka, Ya Imanande. Thank you all for still staying here, and the hall is still filled up. We bless God and we thank you. I want to crave our indulgence. If you may recall, in the month of November, the women leader of Kaura local government in Kaduna State was gunned down. She was killed, and her husband was injured. Her name is Victoria Chimtex. Please, shall we rise up for 1 minute in silence and pray for the repose of our soul? God will grant our soul everlasting rest. May her soul rest in peace. Please be seated. One more thing, one of our ladies also from Kebbi State, her restaurant was burnt down because she refused to go back to a political party that she belonged to. She said she is staying with Labour Party. So they sent their thugs who burnt down her restaurant. I was with her last week, and she said, concerning Labour Party, there is no going back. She said she's staying with Labour Party. She's still moving from ward to ward, from community to community in Kebbi State, mobilizing for Labour Party. We have strong women. We are all strong women. We are all capable women. We are committed. We are ready. We will take back Nigeria.
we will have a better Nigeria. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So now we're going into the question and answer session. Please listen to the instructions very carefully. If somebody has asked your question, please don't ask it. And we're going to have 2 questions per row. After that, we have our dancing session. So I'm going to start from the people on the right. So do we have any questions on this row? Please, can I have a microphone? While we're preparing our questions, our amiable Senator Chris Onyamu has a comment. Please let's listen.
Labour Party. So I said Labour Party. Mama, Papa, Pikin. That's the way. Your Excellency. Fellow women. Are you convinced today, after seeing a candidate, are you convinced that that is the right man?
Yes.
Having seen a candidate, listen to him, you have also listened to his wife. I think you have a view as to the kind of government you will have, the kind of assurance you have. She said, hold me responsible. Obi has a pact with Nigerian people. He has promised Obi will not steal your money. Datti will not steal your money. Obi will fight corruption, and the money he saves, he will invest it in public sector so that life will be better for you. Now, everybody has said everything. There is something I want you to take away as you go. You have your PVC, but there is one thing that can discourage a lot of people from actually going to cast their votes. And it's beginning to happen. Between now and February, you are going to have and hear a lot of misinformation. Hello? You're going to have all kinds of false stories. They will tell you lies. They will tell you Obi is not running anymore. They will tell you this has happened. They will tell you, in fact, the days before election, they will put all kinds of virus in the air. Do not listen to them. The Bible says, be strong and courageous. Be strong in your conviction that what? We have the best man. If President Obasanjo can write a public letter to all of you Nigerians and he said he knows these 3 men. Out of these 3 men, this is the best. IBB has this morning also said, I concur with his action. And it's going to go on and on. We have the best man. All we have to do is to sell our markets. Go out there convinced that you have the best man and sell them. Go door to door. Go market to market. Go to churches. Introduce yourself as bearers of the news from Obi and Baba-Ahmed. Do not relent. This is a war for our nation, for the life of our nation. If you miss it this time, we are going to be crying. I personally am tired of seeing your children crying. I want to say I'm so proud of the young people of this country, the extent to which they have carried on this battle, but they are young people. We as parents now must stand up and do the rest, right? So that's what I'm telling you. Madam Mrs. Obi, I want to thank you. It's remarkable that you can put together this show within a matter of days. And it's just these young people doing it online. And please give her
you know, I know how difficult it is. This is admirable. It goes to show you the kind of government we're going to. We're going to have the first lady that is part of the action to build the country. We have a lot of work to do, and every one of us will have a share in that work. So please be strong in your conviction. Go and work for it. There is no success without work. So I want to thank you. Join in thanking you for coming, and I'm so pleased to be here myself. Thank you.
So we're entering into the question and answer session. If you know you have a question, please join the women standing here. Questions for our panelists.
Thank you very much. My name is Princess Elizabeth Ikaite. I live in Abuja from district. I will a little deviate, but it will be based on voters registration. My question is, how do you intend to work with women in the hinterland? For example, a place like Western Ijo in Bayelsa, where you have to stay in a boat for 3 hours. Then another issue, if you look through the voters' sheets, the way they place the LP logo, they lump up the mother, the father, the child together, and it has become a very big problem to make women. I work with women in the village. I don't really work with people. I work in the hinterland, and we are the group that we've been working quietly, silently. I don't like coming up, but somebody today practically cajoled me into coming here. Your Excellency, you have people who you don't know that are working, they don't belong to any group. We are the ones, I'm sure you know of that. So please, for instance, 3 days ago, I live in Lube. I went to Lube Market because we've been trained for Peter Obi on issues like this, how to talk. You don't just go and start campaigning. I asked a woman, what are you selling? Rice. They said, Madam, Christmas be this. I never sell reach 3,000 naira. I don't know the thing what I could do. I said, okay, this election when they come now. My sister, you see all of us when we dey here, we know who you go vote for. Who you vote for? Now Peter Obi, you might say, I don't know, I'll be Hausa woman, I don't know. Now Peter Obi, I will vote for. But they identified this issue of top printing, and I had to use my phone to show them after voting, you press OK, just like you use in your phones. So please, man, there's a need to train these women. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That question goes to our voter registration. Please take note. Number 2.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me stand on existing protocol established. My question is similar to hers, and it goes to the panelists who talked on voter awareness. I'm a farmer. I have a farm in Nasarawa State. The village I have my farm in, a lot of women work on the farm as casual workers. Of course, most times they're complaining about the issues in the country. And they know, the party that has brought us to where we are. So my husband will always ask them, so since you're not voting for this particular party now, which party are you going to vote for? They mention the other opposition party. They don't know about our party. And when my husband begins to enlighten them about our party, they know nothing about our party. We're having representatives of the 36 states, the women leaders. I do not know how the offices trickle down to the local governments and, the wards and other places for awareness. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to add another instruction. Certain questions can be asked just within us as Labour Party. Okay, number 3.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kate Anthony from Obi-Datti Teamwork. My question is, one of our mommies here talked about in the polling units that if the vote casted or captured, let's say 20 or 100, and they're in recording and they recorded 1,000. In this case, we know that they are ready to fight. And with them, because we have crowds that are going to be there, cast our vote will stay there. Now, my question is, if you know that they've recorded in the votes that are not supposed to record, what are you going to do? Are you going to fight back? Who are you going to report to? Because they're ready to fight. Are we to fight them back? That's the question. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I stand on all existing protocol. My name is Barrister Emilia Demo. We're a group, P2B and Datti support group from Anambra State. Excellent women for P2B and Datti. My question goes like this. We have been on market outreach in the Southeast on many occasions, excellent women, and we have been on P2B movement rallies and stuff like that. So at a point we said, let us not concentrate on the towns. Let's go to the villages and see what is happening there. And to our greatest surprise, people like this movement called P2B. They want to vote Labour Party. They want Obi-Datti movement to succeed come 2023 February. But the problem is that they don't even know where to vote. We asked them, who do you vote for? They say P2B, Obi-Datti. We say, which party? They say they don't know. Number one is that they are confused between Labour Party and ZLP. Because the insignia shows human beings. This one has 3 people, Papa, Mama, Piquet. This one has like 4, 5, like family. So they're confused regarding ZLP and LP. So the question is this, how do we now distinguish for these rural women, the difference between ZLP and Labour Party? That's number one. And number two, oh, sorry. Okay, thank you very much.
Good afternoon. All protocol duly observed. My name is Okorafosuji Rosemary. I'm a convener from Jukoi Karo and belong to Obi-Datti movement group. My question is, now we have already gone far and we have captured many places in this Abuja, both urban areas and rural areas. As I'm concerned, I am sure we have won in Abuja. My question is that there's some people, when we are doing a registration of votes, registration of a PVC, so some people, we are unable to transfer their own from their state to here, but they have their voters card and ready to vote in their states. So what I'm saying, please, what are you people doing to help us, those that are Easterners, that will be going to vote? Because during election, Christmas, any festival period, transportation used to be high. You know, people, they use every little opportunity to have the transportation. So please, what are you doing to help us so that we get transportation to move people to vote? Those that have voters card maybe available in the east or far north. What are we doing to assist so that transportation will be reduced and people will be able to go?
All right, thank you very much. Very, very interesting question. We thank you for that. Certain questions that you have asked will be directed to Labour Party. I was very specific that your questions
should be in line with what the panelists have talked about. But our national women leader has graciously said she's going to answer those internal questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to also stand on existing protocol. Before the lifting of the campaign, a coalition of support groups came together. We tasked ourselves on the pretense of voter sensitization. We went around some villages in Abuja to talk about LP, our candidate, on the pretext. We took doctors and nurses there. And right now, we still have some councils that we ought to visit. We have run out of medical supplies and foodstuff we take when we go into the hinterlands. So, ma'am, I want to know what is being done. How can support groups be empowered to go into the villages, to go and talk to people about the Labour Party? Because I remember just shortly before the campaign was lifted, I was in a keke and I talked with the people there and said, who are you going to vote for? Peter Obi now. What's the emblem of the party? They said PDP. I said no. So I had to quickly go into a cyber cafe, did small copies of Peter Obi on one side, Labour Party logo on the other side, to give out anytime I go out. So we'd like to know how we can get medical supplies to continue with the medical sensitization into the hinterlands. Thank you very much.
Oh, I get charger. I get. Who help me charge my phone? No space.
So let's give our panelists the opportunity to answer the question.
Nigerian women. Yes, Nigerian women. Our own national woman leader, distinguished ladies of Nigeria. I think this is a very, very important time. This is a very, very important time. Very, very important for this program. And it is very, very necessary that we listen. Can I have your ears, please? Hello, women. Okay, I think we have listened to a couple of women. And first of all, I will look at one quick look into my list. Somebody said that we do not know what to vote, how to vote, because of the difference between ZL. My fellow women, distinguished ladies and gentlemen here, I just want to say that we are privileged to be here at this point in time, and it is a period of creating awareness. By the special grace of God, I want to say that this movement is a divine movement, and God is on our side. But for all of us that are here, privileged to be here at this point in time, we must take responsibility. We must take responsibility because we come from various units. In fact, for the purpose of what His Excellency Peter Obi stands for in Nigeria as of today, I want to say that we have questions In these 53 days, all of us that are here have great responsibility in our various units. And the I want to take up one question. And the question here says that she does not know where to have to vote because our about between said and ladies and gentlemen, ladies of Nigeria, we are all here in our capacity and stand in our various units. I want us to understand that first of all, what we are going in for, we must take it personal. And in the structure of political units, you have from the top out to the various groups. As a matter of fact, when there is such a movement, Nigerian women, we want to say something, and we must listen. I think I want to take up number 5 question. That we don't know where the women don't know where to go. And how to check.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma. We're coming back to that. But I noticed that we are distracted. So where's our DJ, please? We're going to take a 15-minute break. And then we continue our dancing competition, then we get our answers. Because the things that are being said here right now are very important and we must listen. So we're having a 15-minute break. DJ, hit it.
All right, it's been an amazing time. Once again, I want to appreciate all of us.
He's wearing white. He's wearing white.
So right about now, we want to conclude the dance competition. Where are our competitors, contestants? Where are our contestants? Oh? Labour Party, Mama Papa Pikin. Okay, don't worry, we'll be done in no time. Thank you very much for your patience and your time, your cooperation. You guys are the real MVP. So, row 1, row 2, row 3, don't dance a bit. Remaining row 4.
Row 3. Where's that Akwa Ibom woman that was dancing that dance? We're waiting for her.
So the last row is yet to contest. Please, where is she? They don't go. They are village people. Where is she? Okay, so we are waiting for the last contestant. I think she was wearing Ankara yellow top. So can we have someone else represent this role?